Am I the idiot for going to a baby shower even though I missed a funeral? Hi, male 27, went to a baby shower last Sunday for a friend of mine, female 28, that is expecting a baby boy. I've known her more than half my life, and her husband, male 28, is the sweetest man ever. She gets very upset when people don't attend her events, and she can even be angry when they don't work out as they planned. Her wedding planning was a lot of drama, and I'm glad I didn't play a role in that. She and her husband are amazing people, and this is their first child, so they really wanted me to come. Here's where it gets difficult. Her baby shower was on the same day as my cousin's, male 28, funeral. Now I'm not close or distant to him, but in recent years we haven't seen each other as much. He didn't even spend Christmas with us the past 2 years, and yes, we all celebrate Christmas, so this isn't about what beliefs anyone has or holidays they celebrate. Also, I figured my family could understand the other dark reason why I wouldn't attend. His cause of death was by drowning, and I am extremely afraid of water. He and his friend went swimming in a lake and were pulled by currents. His friend survived, but he did not. I have had a crippling fear of large bodies of water for practically 2 decades, and now that one of these took my cousin's life, I didn't have the heart to think about that horror. I hate the beach and don't live by the ocean. I didn't think they'd bring up his horrific death story at the funeral, but I didn't want to risk it, especially since it would have given me more anxiety than I could withstand. I do feel horrible grief for my cousin for literally dying the way I've always feared dying, and I can't even hear or read about the incident without flipping out. So I attended the baby shower, and it wasn't too different from normal baby showers. My friend was happy I was there, and I know she gets very sensitive when people don't attend her events. I was happy for her and her husband too. I'm glad to keep them in my life. However, the days following her baby shower and my cousin's funeral, people in my family have become distant. I saw our phone group chat and noticed some people were talking about me not being in attendance. I promised to attend the burial and begged them not to discuss triggering details of his death to me, but my own sister, female 23, kicked me out of the group chat. My parents said I'll eventually be brought back, but they're very disappointed in me for not attending the funeral. They said I was being too paranoid about people talking about the death details when they just wanted to celebrate his life, and that my friend needs to learn she can't have everything. I told them it's not my fault or my friend's fault, and that I don't love my late cousin any less than his other family members. But right now everyone's upset with me, and it will make attending the burial even harder. Did I make the wrong decision? Am I the idiot? You're the idiot. I'm confused. You were so triggered and anxious about your cousin's death and the way he died. You went to your friend's baby shower on the same day instead of attending the funeral, and told the family not to discuss his death because it was also upsetting for you. And you're asking if you're an idiot. You're the idiot. You handled this very badly, failed to support your family in their grief, failed to honor your cousin, and I can completely understand why they are upset with you. Have you ever even been to a funeral? What on earth makes you think they are going to spend tons of time talking about their death? That just doesn't happen. You are being paranoid, and if your phobia about water is so severe that you can't even be in a room where somebody talks about water, you need to get therapy. Update. People have asked or assumed an update. It's fair I share how things went. I ended up attending my late cousin's burial. Most people were just too caught up in grief and in memory of my cousin to acknowledge me. I was alright with this, but I knew some of them had said stuff about me after the burial. My parents have tried to help me through, although my mother is still very upset with my decision, seeing my late cousin was on her side of the family. Some of my family, especially my eldest sister, 29, female, have found respect for me, but I've had to do more responsibility-wise. My younger sister, female 23, basically refused to speak to me since I skipped my cousin's funeral. She and I have gone separate ways, and it hurts to accept her happier when I'm not around with her. Biggest change within her is that she used to be mad at me and badmouthed me for missing his funeral for the baby shower, but now she's just done. She's moved on for a life now without me, and this is the hardest part of the update to write about. I can only focus on improving myself. It sounds wrong to just cut off family, especially after a member died this year, but I wish her the best, and she's taught me a lot about myself. She doesn't want me dead. She wants herself to be happy. Following my friend's baby shower, she has since given birth to her son in late October. She and her husband are nice people. Given your comments, she really has been a close friend of mine for years, but even now, I agree she was too demanding. I believe these were pregnancy symptoms, but she really is high maintenance. Since she's a mother, she's taken the "it takes a village to raise a child" message to heart and wants more gifts. A lot of people decided they wanted a break from her. Some told her, some just ghosted. But I decided it was best to let go, at least for the time being. We haven't spoken in a few weeks. She sent me a Christmas card with her still pregnant standing next to her husband, but no talking to each other for the year. My cousin's parents, my aunt and uncle, are unsurprisingly distraught. I've helped them around their house, and they're doing their best to forgive me, but I know they won't forget. They'll always know I skipped their son's funeral. My late cousin's girlfriend, female 28, has done more for them, however, and they adore her like family. She's coming this Christmas, although she too missed Christmas the past 2 years, and she definitely knows my cousin did this due to the pandemic, which I should have been more aware about. My cousin drowning to death is scary, but he is not a reckless person. I don't know his girlfriend very well, but I will comfort her. She is constantly said to be a wonderful woman, and she's been so sweet to our family. My family isn't the same since the passing, and they're trying their best with one another. I still feel very alone, but I'm holding on, and I'm taking therapy next year. Everyone sucks here. First, I'm glad you are no longer friends with that toxic woman. That's a huge positive step for you. Second, I completely get your sister's anger and now disinterest in you. To be honest, what you did was unforgivable. Hopefully in time she softens. But understand, it might take years, not weeks. Do mention to your family that you are no longer friends with that toxic woman, and that it was your fault for not walking away from her much sooner. You should be thankful your aunt and uncle let you near them, and that you are still part of this year's family Christmas, not the idiot. I think that given your circumstances you made the best decisions you could. I hope this has taught you something, and do not rule out having a relationship with your sister again. It would not be bad for you to let me know that you understand that she is upset, that you are wrong, and you will give her space, but if she needs help or wants to talk to you, you will be there for her. Should he have gone to his cousin's funeral? Let me know in the comments. Now, am I the idiot for not agreeing to house my pregnant teenage sister and her delinquent boyfriend after our parents disowned her? My family and I grew up very poor. From when I was old enough to legally work, I, female 19, have had to take on multiple jobs while balancing school to help with my family and my younger sister. Growing up, I never had a lot, and whatever money I earned I would spend on my sister, female 16, and family. When I was 18 and had just been accepted into college, my dad's business that he'd worked on for the past couple of years finally took off. This also meant that my sister could now have a normal high school experience without worrying about money. While I was in college, I wasn't in contact with my sister that much since I was so busy with schoolwork. However, from our calls and her social media, I could tell she had changed completely and was involved with some bad people. She would post videos on her Snapchat of her getting drunk, smoking weed, dueling, driving while most likely drunk, high, etc. I tried reaching out to her, but she would mostly deny the claims and told me to mind my own business. At some point, she justified her actions using the argument, "This is what the cool kids do now. Not everyone was a nerd like you in high school." One of my high school friends who also has a brother in the same grade reached out to me and said that she heard that my sister was seeing a sketchy guy from another school. Apparently he sells drugs and was expelled from my sister's high school. I asked my sister about this and she denied it. Last week I got a phone call from my mom who was sobbing. She tells me that my sister is pregnant. I was so shocked that I could not speak. Then I was angry. When I was her age and even younger, I gave her everything, and so did my parents, so she could have all the opportunities her peers had. Since my dad's business became lucrative, they've given her every opportunity to succeed. Any extracurricular, sports she wants, academic tutoring, school activities, etc. I never got any of those things. It angered me so much that she took all of this for granted and fricked up her life. The father, her delinquent boyfriend who got expelled and sells drugs. She blows up my phone but I don't respond. She then sends me a series of long text messages asking if she can crash at my place. She also asked me if I could make an appointment to see a doctor. Lastly, she asked if it would be okay if her boyfriend comes and stays over sometimes. I shut her down. I told her that you dug this hole for yourself. If you allow yourself to become pregnant, then you should be able to deal with the consequences. Also, I'm currently sharing a small apartment with 2 roommates. She begged some more and I denied her. In the past few days, she's been texting me and calling me nonstop saying that she has nowhere to go and has been living in her boyfriend's car. I haven't responded to a single message of hers, but I feel my resolve wavering a bit. I fully don't support her, but maybe I'm being an idiot. Edit. To clarify, I would still never house her in my apartment. That would be extremely disrespectful towards my roommates and would get me kicked out due to the lease agreement. I meant I was considering giving in and sending her some money. Edit 2. My parents have disowned her, not kicked her out. They are refusing to acknowledge that she is their daughter, but she is still welcome to live in their house. She chose not to since my parents are absolutely fuming and probably will yell at her and criticize her, which she honestly needs. Not the idiot. It hurts to watch family suffer consequences of their actions, but you aren't refraining from helping to be vindictive or to get even. You aren't helping her because of the way she's treated you and your family. It's hard to do, but you are not an idiot. Everyone sucks here except you. Your parents should have done something a long time ago to rein her in, rather than wondering why she's wound up pregnant now. The school should have intervened a long time ago if she was seeing that guy, because I'm sure they were at least somewhat aware of the students were. The boyfriend sucks for obvious reasons, and the sister sucks too for obvious reasons. Personally, I'd offer her money for an abortion, and pay it directly to the clinic, and then pay the clinic to check her for STIs and install some kind of long-acting contraception like an implant, a ring, or an IUD. Update. It's been a little bit more than 2 weeks since my first post, and I guess it's safe to say now that the situation has been resolved in probably the best way possible. In my last post, I stated that my sister was still living in the car of her delinquent boyfriend who sells drugs and refusing to come home because my parents had disowned her. At this point, I would like to clarify that my family and I are Chinese, and it is common in Chinese culture to disown your kids when they do something that largely disappoints or embarrasses you. However, this is not a permanent disownment like many of you have brought up. As long as my sister apologizes sincerely and they can see that she is actively trying to fix her mistake and become better, they will take her back as their daughter. Another clarification would be for those people who assume that my dad kept us poor since he was stubborn and wanted to work on his business and not get a real job. His business was a passion project on the side. My dad was working 50 hours a week at 2 jobs. Alrighty, onto what ultimately happened with my sister. Despite the chain of advice I sent her, she ignored me still. I regularly checked in with her over the next week to see how she was, and she gave me one-word replies until they ultimately stopped. I was growing concerned after she didn't pick up her cell. But then I received a call from my parents. According to my mom, my sister had returned home crying and begging for forgiveness. She had a serious talk with my parents where she apologized for her behavior and promised to make amends. My mom was very tearful as well. They scheduled a doctor's appointment for her immediately, and I believe she went in the next day. I had no idea what made her finally break and return home, so I texted her. First, I told her I was proud of her for taking action and being mature, and asked if anything happened between her and her boyfriend. At first she was pretty stubborn and kept insisting that she was just over living in a car. But after a while she finally admitted that her boyfriend had requested that she start selling for him if she wanted to keep living in his car and eating his food that he was sneaking her. LMAO, what a freaking idiot. Glad my sister finally returned to her senses. She told me she broke it off with him and I sincerely hope that's the truth. This past Monday, she got the pills to successfully terminate her pregnancy. According to my mom, she was begging that they do it ASAP, which was really a breath of relief for all of us because we were worried she might want to keep it. The future seems pretty bright right now for her. My parents decided to pull her out of the public school and send her to a progressive private school that some of my close friends also went to. It's a fantastic school, and I think it'd be great for her. She's officially starting next Monday. I'm going to visit her and my family this weekend and see how she's doing. Edit. Forgot to add that the new school also has a wonderful counseling department. I urged my parents to speak to the head psychologist there and they did, and she will be having mandatory weekly meetings with her and another therapist at the school. Not the idiot. While I'm glad she's home and the worst has been avoided, I really wonder if the underlying issues will be addressed. The whole family dynamic does not sound healthy, traditional or not. And in addition, your sister has gone through a lot, from being disowned, all that poop with her boyfriend, and now the abortion. Please check up on her regularly to make sure she's coping alright, and I would very strongly suggest getting her a therapist or at least a school counselor to talk to. Ideally family therapy too, but I don't know if your parents would be open for that at all. At the end of the day, she is only 16 and all of this went past typical teenage rebellion. If the underlying causes are not addressed, it won't matter that she changed schools, the problems will still be there. Also, an abortion can be very traumatizing and just confusing with all the emotions involved, even when the woman wants it and has planned it well. Your sister didn't have much of a choice, no good choices anyway, and she is still very young. She really needs an adult who she can trust to talk to about all of her feelings and issues without judgment. How would you have handled things if your little sister got pregnant? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.